Alright, so today we're in my garage. I'm with my pal John. We just did a workout, that's why he's sweating over here. And we're gonna learn how to cut and solder copper pipe. We're not gonna learn how to do plumbing because John's in construction, and you know, plumbing is a whole separate science. But to get started, we're gonna learn how to solder. And you've seen it done. John, like I said, John is in construction, but he's never done copper pipe, right?
Never.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead, and this is going to help John out a lot because when he does his jobs now, he's got a little another skill he can have. So, really simple. What I did, John, is I took 1/2-inch copper pipe and I just stapled it to a board because this is pretty much what you would see a lot of times, you know, in a wall. All right, and then what we're going to do is I'm just going to have you today to practice put on a 90 coupling, okay? And we're going to solder a piece coming out straight out like that. I'm going to show you how to do that, all right? So, got a basic homeowner's kit here, and we're going to get started by cleaning the pipe. The most important thing when you solder copper pipe is it's got to be clean, because in order for the solder to grab the copper, you need two things. You need it really clean, okay? No little, you know, bumps. You can feel sometimes little burrs. Yeah, exactly. And no grease. You want it nice and shiny. And you also have to have flux. This is a flux, looks like grease. This has to be clean also. If you have like sawdust in it or something, you get a little pinhole where that solder doesn't, and you're going to get a leak. So this has to be clean as well. Alright, now here's what we're going to do. I've got a little tool here that you can use for the 90. This is for 1/2 inch. You're just going to put this in here, turn it in one direction, and get that nice and clean on the inside. Alright? Get a torch out. Alright, now you got to keep going in there. You got to go on both sides.
Oh, you did one and I did the other.
No, do them both. You got to really get in there good. You know, just do it a couple times. Do it real good. I'm going to grab something here. Both sides, really clean. Good. You got both. Let me see. All right. Now, what I like. Now you can see when you look inside here. Now you'll see it's scratched. And it's dull. That's what you want. You want it clean and dull. But if you look in here, you can see how it's still kind of shiny up in there a little bit. You want to make sure you get it in there real good and deep, all the way around. You don't want to have any spots that are shiny, because that's where. There you go. It's nice and scratched all the way around on the inside.
All right.
Okay.
See it.
Yep. And the other thing that I like to do is I like to just scratch it up on the edge a little bit too. This is a cloth, it's a plumber's cloth, just like a sandpaper, and I like to go around the outside a little bit with that. Just to make sure that you're going to get a good seal all the way around. Alright? Simple. Now, for the pipe itself, you're going to take this and you're going to clean it all the way around. Oftentimes what I'll do is I'll just take it like this. Just clean it. And you want to make sure you get a good bit. Now you'll notice when I put this on here, alright, you want to get a good inch past that. Alright, you don't want to just do the tip. You want to get it really clean up to here. Make sure that everything's clean. Alright, so you're going to do this piece here, clean that real good all the way around. Again, make sure that there's no spots, and then do this one as well. Alright, so alright, that's nice. You can see all the way around. It's got a good bit of it cleaned off. That's what we want. Again, no burrs, nothing sticking on it. Now, the first step is done. The second thing you're going to have to do now is put the flux on it. Right? And when you put the flux on, you want to put it on both surfaces. So you're going to get the flux all the way around. Pipe. Okay. This is what allows the solder to flow.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to get it on both. Just like that. And then you want to get it on the inside of that. So go ahead and put it on the inside of that. Now, if we were, you know, doing a plumbing job, I said this is just learning how to solder. If we were doing a plumbing job, you'd actually, before you put the flux on, you would dry fit it to make sure that it worked. You know, that it was the right dimensions.
Don't be stingy with the mustard.
There you go. All right. Now they just slide together like this. And like I said, you would dry fit this first if you were checking to make sure that, you know, it was the right measurement and the right cut. All right, now you're also going to notice that this is going to slide. And say I wanted it to be out at a 90 degrees, all right, from the floor like that, all right. You'd have to hold this, and what I usually do is use a pair of pliers, because it gets hot when you start to solder that, so I just use a pair of pliers and hold that. Once you start to get that heated up, it'll swell and it'll hold itself. All right, so that's what we're going to do now. All right. I'm going to get this torch going. This, like I said, this is the basic homeowner's kit. You know, they make a striker that you can use. I'm just using that. Always want to make sure you have water around in case you catch something on fire. All right, now what you're going to do, John, is going to take the torch, right? Take this, you want to hold that up, right? Hold that in place. Right, and make sure that it's fitting tight. You want to make sure it's all the way in.
Am I heating from the bottom or the top?
Now you want to heat right from the side, and you want to heat the joint. Always heat the joint. Go ahead. You're just going to hold that torch right on that joint. Just going to heat that joint up. And then what you're going to do is take the, right, you can let go of that probably now. See, that'll hold because it swells.
Right.
That's it. Now take your solder and just run a bead around there. Right, no, right against the joint. Run it all the way around one time. Now turn it upside down, go underneath. Good. Now do the other joint. Right there. Go ahead. That's it. One time around. And we just take a little cloth or something and just run that around like that. Just to make sure it's nice and smooth. That's all you need.
That's a little sloppy, but
it's actually really good. You can see how that looks. You don't. A lot of guys do is they put too much solder on. One time around, that's all you need. You just practice it. And like I said, it's a good idea to have some water around when you're doing this too.
It usually does work better to do this.
Yeah, just give it a little. You want to just give it a little curve because then you can run around the top and you can run it underneath. One time around, that's all you need. And then just take a cloth and just smooth it out. Now, this is a cutter. I just want to show you how to cut real quick. This is like a mini cutter, and for homeowners are great because you can get in tight spaces. You can see there's a little cutting wheel on here, okay? And then you've got a roller on this side, right? So if you were going to measure this with a tape measure, and like let's say you wanted to cut it here, you just take a pencil. Some guys like to use a marker. I would just use a pencil. And this is pretty hot now too, keep that in mind. All right? And then what you do is take your cutting wheel and put it right on that mark, open it up. Okay, and then all you're going to do is snug it down right on that pencil mark. Right, but you don't want to tighten it so much
you can't turn it.
Yeah, that you can't turn it or that it digs in too far because you'll dent the pipe or you'll break the cutter. So just enough to grab it, go around one time, and you'll make a score mark, and then you'll be able to see if it's actually on your mark. All right. And then you're just going to tighten it a little more. Go all the way around. You see this is great for tight spaces. And then tighten it a little more. And then tighten it a little more. Because you want it to be even all the way around. Right? You want it to dig in evenly, not just where you're squeezing down. So. Beautiful. Nice even cut. And then you would go ahead and clean that. Flux it, put your fitting on there, and that's it. That's the basics of copper soldering. What's neat about this is you don't even have to do plumbing. You can make stuff. You make like, you know, little tables, you can make racks. I've seen baker's racks built out of copper, so it's just a cool little handyman skill to have. Practice. Alright? That's it. Alright, man. Now you can do plumbing too.